Hello, Grand Coders. My name is Shawn, and I will be your instructor today. This is part 2 of a series on how to install and use NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib, which are all Python libraries, and we're going to be using them using a data science notebook called Jupyter Notebook. In this part, we're going to learn how to install Anaconda, which is sort of the parent of Jupyter Notebook, and by installing Anaconda, we're going to also install Jupyter Notebook. So, let's go ahead and go over the requirements. The first requirement is a compatible operating system. So make sure that you have a Windows, Mac, or Linux. And I am assuming that you're already on one, and that's probably what you're watching the video on, but if you are on mobile, make sure that you do get a computer that is either a Windows, Mac, or Linux so that you can work this out. So, the other requirement is to have a modern browser. So whether it be Microsoft Edge, Brave, Firefox, Chrome, any of that. And I'm just going to go ahead and open the old trusty Firefox here. And be really careful here because this is one of the parts where you can most easily mess up. Type Anaconda.com. Exactly the way I have here, I want you to type Anaconda.com. If you want to put a capital at the beginning, that's not going to do anything, but make sure that you have typed this, at least the spelling part, exactly this way. And then if you click enter, it should bring you to this website if you had typed this correctly. So go ahead and make sure you have typed anaconda.com exactly this way. And for the ones who have, just like the python.org website, there are a lot of really cool things here that can distract you. But the part I want you to focus on is the get started part. So go ahead and click on that, and it should bring you here. If it does not, go ahead and make sure that your cookies are unblocked and your cache is on. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and try with a different browser. And if it still doesn't work, go ahead and try with a different computer. And if that still doesn't work, go ahead and make sure your internet is working properly. And if it still doesn't work, go ahead and comment down below so I can help you out. But if it brings you here, go ahead and click Install Anaconda Individual Edition. And then that should bring you here. So you can go ahead and just click Accept here so that this will move away from the bottom. And then here, I want you to look at one thing. Here where it says Conda Packages, you can see that it says it has over 7,500 data science and machine learning packages. That means that by installing Anaconda, we're going to add such an exponential amount of potential to Python that we're going to have 7,500 more packages we can use, which is an incredible number. So yeah, so go ahead and click download here once you have read that, and that will bring you down here. So go ahead and click on the correct installer for your operating system. So there are installers for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So go ahead and figure out which one is perfect for you. And for me, that's going to be this one. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then I'm going to save the file. And then I'm just going to wait for this to finish. And if you have a slow internet connection, it may take a while because this is a rather large file. Nearly half a gigabyte, that is. So again, if you do want to read anything on the Anaconda website, feel free to do so because it is pretty good to it is a pretty good idea to read through it just so you can understand what we're installing here. So you can go ahead and click this if you want because that will open the installer. But for the ones who are having difficulty finding the installer, you can go into your Finder or File Explorer and then click on the Downloads tab, and then you should see it right there. So you can go ahead and double click that. And again, you can always just click this, but I was just showing it for the ones who are having trouble. So you can see this. Once you see this, feel free to close your file folder and your Firefox or whatever browser you used. But yeah, it should look pretty similar to this no matter what operating system you're on. And just go ahead and keep clicking next. You don't need to do anything in particular. Don't change any of the settings. Just keep going. And now I want to go ahead and show you this. It might give you this warning. And if it says that, just click OK. And then I want you to click Browse, and then click Make New Folder, and I want you to just name this folder Anaconda. If it does not give you this warning, feel free to just click OK and then Next. But if it does, then I want you to click OK. And then there's going to be another warning when you click Next. It's going to be this one. Again, don't mind it. Just click OK, and then it'll bring you here, and you can click Install. So, it will seem to be going pretty fast, but then when it gets started on the package cache, as you can see in a second right here, this will last for as much as an hour, and it's a pretty long time, and I don't want to waste your time here, so I'm going to go ahead and speed it up to when the installation is complete. because it will take a long time no matter what. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up to the time we're done. If you have any problems, which you shouldn't if you've gotten to this point, again, feel free to comment down below so I can help you out. Alright friends, so as we can see here, the installation, at least for me, has completed. And if it has not for you, go ahead and pause this video until yours is complete. But if you click show details here, you can see the reason it took so long. There are thousands and thousands of installations and packages, which do take quite a while, but I assure you they're not excessively large. So you can go ahead and click next, and then next again. And you can go ahead and uncheck this, or else it'll just open an unnecessary website for now. And you can go ahead and click finish. So now, if you look in your applications, and on A, you'll actually see the Anaconda Navigator, the PowerShell prompt, the regular prompt, the Jupyter Notebook, and Spider. So applications always take a very long time to load the first time, and it's not always very convenient to wait until you need it and you're in a really big rush. So let's go ahead and open all of these just so we can get everything set up. That way, if we're ever in a rush later on, we don't have to waste any time. And it's always a good procedure to open an application as soon as it's installed, even if it's not necessary, just so that we don't have to worry about it taking forever in the future. So let's start with Anaconda Navigator. Go ahead and click it. And it will take a minute to open because, again, this is our first time opening it, so it will have to set everything up before it can open. So it'll open and close this conda.exe thing quite a few times. Don't be surprised if it does because it is setting everything up again. Okay, so once you see this little Anaconda ring, that means that it has almost set up. Now it's just going to go ahead and initialize and do all of its final opening procedures, and it's going to open. So you can see here there's a little bit of text saying initializing. Alright, it's going to go ahead and do everything it needs. Now it's just going to load the application which it has installed. And Anaconda Navigator is a GUI, or graphical user interface, which allows you to sort of see everything in a more user-friendly interface, which we're not going to use too often, but it's nice to see. You can see here that along with Anaconda, the cmd.exe prompt has been installed, Jupyter Lab, the Jupyter Notebook, the PowerShell prompt. PyCharm may or may not have been installed for you, but I already had Python pre-installed, so it says launch here. The Qt console, which is a PyQt GUI. Spider has been installed, and there's also the option to install GlueViz or NGG in RStudio. But we're not going to need to do that. If you click on environments here, by the way, you can also see all the different environments for Python and IPython that have been installed. Learning and community are not really anything that we need to look at for now, so you can go ahead and stay on home, and you can go ahead and cut this if everything has worked properly. And again, if you're on if you're on Mac or Linux, the interface may look a little bit different to what I'm seeing here because, again, different operating systems require different things. So Anaconda is probably built differently over there for you. But go ahead and open the PowerShell prompt now. If you're on Windows, of course, Mac and Linux don't have PowerShell. And once it's opened, and you actually have to wait for this to go into the C. So go ahead and wait, and once this shows, you can go ahead and close this. And then go ahead and open the regular prompt now. Again, wait for that to pop up. Once it has, you can go ahead and close it. And then you can go ahead and open Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook actually always takes at least a minute or two to open, but the first time in particular, it will take a little bit longer than it usually does because, again, it has to set everything up. So here, as we can see, I am waiting for Jupyter Notebook to process on its first open. Okay, and once this shows in your default browser in a few seconds, Jupyter Notebook will automatically open, as you can see here. And if it does not, you can just go ahead and copy and paste either this or one of these two in any browser. And by the way, if you do close this, then Jupyter Notebook is going to stop working. So make sure that you don't close this little shell/prompt until you're completely done using Jupyter Notebook. Because if you do, Jupyter Notebook will stop working. So just to make sure that Jupyter Notebook is working, go ahead and click New, and then Python 3 under Notebook, just to make sure that everything in Jupyter Notebook is working properly. So if it has opened properly like this, that means it is working properly. And if it does not, again, comment section below so I can help you. And let's go ahead and rename this notebook to just test notebook. Okay. And one thing I want to let you know is that Jupyter Notebook by default is running on IPython, as you can see with this extension .ipynb. So don't be surprised if it does seem a little bit different from regular Python. So let's just go ahead and make sure that everything is working. So go ahead and put print hello world. And if you are confused on what I'm doing here, I would recommend you watch my Python for Beginner series, or at least a few lessons, just so you can get an idea on how to use Python. But let's go ahead and put print hello world. And then let's go ahead and run this. And by the way, you can click run here, but of course I know for a lot of you tech savvy people it's going to be really irritating to click run every time. So the shortcut to run cells in Jupyter Notebook is Shift Enter. So if you do that, it will also do the same thing. And if you want to run all the cells, you can click here on Cell and then click Run All, and it'll automatically run all the cells again. So if it does work properly, then you're set. So you can go ahead and close your browser, and it may give you that prompt. You can just click Leave, and you can also close this little Jupyter Notebook prompt. All right, and then we have to open our final application, which is Spider. We're not going to be using Spider too heavily. In fact, I'm not even sure that we're going to use Spider at all. But again, we do want to take our precautions and open it already, just so that we don't get stuck in the initializing procedure when we're in a rush. So it was a good thing, and I do want you to learn, because one habit of a good program is they always open any programs installed prior to when they actually need it, just so that this initializing phase does not take excessively long if or when they're in a rush. So it should look pretty similar to this when Spider is opening. And it really shouldn't be too much of a while until it opens. At most, I would say 2 minutes, unless you have a very slow or very old computer. And there we go. So go ahead and leave Spider open for a couple of seconds, because it has to initialize everything, even though it appears it has opened. But once it has at least appeared to fully have buffered, and again, it will give you this not responding thing because everything is processing. But it is in fact responding, so don't worry. It's just that your computer appears to think that it's not responding because of the procedure that it's going through right now. But it shouldn't be too long before it goes back to responding. So we're just going to wait for that. And there we go. It has function now, so you can go ahead and cut all of these because we don't need them. And you can also cut the main Spider window. And yeah, that's really all we needed to accomplish in this part. So our accomplishments were, of course, installing Anaconda, as well as Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, and all of these things that we saw just now. But yeah, that was our main accomplishment. Our main accomplishment here was to install Jupyter Notebook so we can use it as our notebook when we are using, of course, NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. So congratulations if everything has worked properly. If it hasn't, please do comment down below. And as usual, if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, all of which are completely free to you and take only a couple of seconds. And thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next part or any other video.